Hey, this is Michael with XForcePC. I want to talk to you about our 4K gamer here. The reason we call it a 4K gaming system is we want to make it pretty clear that you don't need this much power unless you're driving a 4K display or a whole bunch of displays. We don't even have it listed, at least currently, on our X-Plane gaming systems page. Mostly because it tends to be overkill for X-Plane. Again, unless you're running it on a 4K TV. So I don't want people to think that you need this much power to run X-Plane. Although it's nice and it'll do a really great job, certainly not a requirement. And you know, it's a good bit more expensive. Now, the size of this case, from the angle I'm at right now, probably is a pretty good perspective. I'm behind the case, but I'm going to come around front here in a minute, and it's going to make the case look small, so do be aware of that. So this is built in a Corsair case. It's a really nice high-end case with lots of cooling. As you can see, it has some nice lighting here on the fans in the front, and we also have this really large fan here on the side. And the advantage of this really large fan is it's blowing right onto the graphics card or cards and gives them cool, fresh air right on top of them. So you're not going to have any cooling issues with your video cards. We also have a fan here in the back that blows straight out the back, and it's situated right next to where the processor is. So it takes the processor's heat and goes right out. Now, up in the top of this case, it does support 2 more fans. We typically don't put those in unless maybe you've optioned this thing in a way in which we think we need more cooling. This little cover pulls right off, and you've got 2 spots for fans right here, or it does support a full-size water cooling kit. Although we don't normally recommend water cooling because the high-end air cooler, in our opinion, does an adequate job in evacuating the heat out of the case. We also have a filter here in the back. Your air gets drawn in through the bottom for the power supply. So you have a nice filter here that you can change out. I'm just going to set that to the side. I'll put it in later. Put it back into the case later. But what that does is filters the air coming in to the power supply so it doesn't get all built up with dust. But you do need to remember there's a filter down there that needs to be changed out periodically. Now, if you're not a big fan of the lighting, there is a switch up here where you can turn the lighting off. You know, maybe you're wanting to be in a dark room and you're wanting to, you know, not have all this light, or maybe you're just not into the bling. So you have that switch there where you can turn it off if you want to. And there's a switch right next to it, a 3-position switch for fan speed. So you have control over how fast the fans go. Even on high, this thing is pretty doggone quiet, and you hardly notice it. On the inside, I mean, there's not a whole lot to look at beyond your standard kind of stuff that we use. So we're of course running a GTX 980 Ti, which is the fastest video card you can get. There is a Titan, as you're probably aware of, a Titan X, which comes with 12 gigs of RAM. And nobody really needs 12 gigs of video RAM on their video card because you can't use that much. NVIDIA did that mostly just because they could. And so they could say, well, ours has the most, you know, RAM on it. This GTX 980 Ti is basically just as fast as the Titan X, but with 6 gigs of RAM. It costs about 40% less. Titan X is about $1,050. This is about a $650, $700 card that's in here. So this is the most expensive component in the system. We also have a nice 700 watt power supply. This one happens to be equipped with a 750, but we specify 700 or greater in the specs on our website. And then of course we got the nice high-end cooler here and some DDR4 2400 RAM in there for some good speed. And of course we have some storage options. This one has happens to be equipped with the standard 2 terabyte hybrid hard drive. You can see we have a spot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hard drives, which I doubt you'll ever need that, but anyway, you do have it. And we got some air blowing right on the hard drive here through the front. We do have options for other storage, SSDs and so forth, so watch my video on storage. I won't go into that here, but yeah, I do have a dedicated video for the storage. I think that pretty much covers it. If you have any questions, please email me. The email is michael@xforcepc.com. Again, that is michael@xforcepc.com.